How's it going, everybody? My name is Ray Rodriguez. I'm a real estate agent and a real estate investor out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm also a student in the Future Flipper All-Star Coaching Program, where I've learned everything that I know about real estate investing, and now I'm making videos online to share some of those things with you as well. If you have any questions about the program or any real estate investing questions in general, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll be happy to help you out. Today, we're gonna be talking about getting deals on market versus getting deals off market. On market deals means getting a deal from Zillow, Redfin, the MLS, or any of those websites, whereas getting an off market deal means you are speaking directly with the seller, the house is not publicly for sale, and you are getting the deal off market. In this video, we're going to compare and contrast 5 major differences between on-market and off-market deals, and therefore you'll be able to make a more informed decision on whether you want to go after deals that are on the market or deals that are off the market. So the first category I want to talk about is competition. Is it easier to get a deal on market or is it easier to get a deal off market? I have personally done both, and the honest answer is it is easier to get a deal with whichever source you are going to consistently pursue. It doesn't matter if you are going after off-market deals only or if you're only going after on-market deals, you are going to have more success going after one of those and sticking to it. So let's talk about what the competition looks like when you are going after on-market deals versus what the competition looks like when you are going after off-market deals. From my personal experience, I believe that on-market deals have a lot more competition as opposed to off-market deals. Let me give you an example. Let's say there is a family looking to move into a particular neighborhood. Chances are that family is using a realtor, and that realtor is looking for homes on the MLS. The family might be looking on their phone on Zillow for houses in that area as well. So even though there might be a couple people trying to sell their house off market in the very neighborhood that that family is looking to move into, that family has no idea that any of those homes are for sale because they are not publicly being advertised. So when it comes to off-market deals, the only real competition is people who are marketing specifically to those types of properties. Another reason why off-market has less competition is because a lot of your competitors do not have a good follow-up system. Whenever I talk to a lead, whether it be off-market or on-market, I make sure to put that lead into my CRM so that it reminds me to follow up with that seller. However, when it comes to on-market deals, the MLS or Zillow will send you a notification whenever a home has dropped its price. So here's what all of that means in case I lost any of you. Let's say you don't have a system in place at all for following up with sellers and realtors. If you were looking at a particular house on Zillow and you called to make an offer, maybe you don't have any sort of follow-up system whatsoever. If 2 or 3 weeks from now, the seller drops the price, Zillow is probably gonna send you a notification saying that that property dropped the price. That is going to remind you to call those people again. When you're doing off-market, however, there is no way of knowing anything that is going on with that property unless you are proactively making sure that you follow up with the seller. So obviously there's going to be more competition on market when, one, you're competing with families who are looking to buy the home and they're willing to pay way more money than you because they're looking to move into the property, and two, you're competing with people who may not have a good follow-up system in place. So even though they may not be very good at tracking their data, because Zillow sends them a notification whenever something happens with that property, they don't need to be good at following up with people in order to remember to follow up. With off market, if you don't remember to follow up, you're pretty much screwed because someone else will remember to follow up and that person will get the deal. Now let's talk about compensation. Can you make more money from on-market deals or from off-market deals? The truth is, it doesn't matter if you're doing on-market deals or off-market deals. If you are doing it consistently enough, you will get big deals, you will get small deals, and you will get average deals. But with that being said, even though you will get the one-off big deal or the one-off small deal, Just from my experience and from speaking to a lot of other investors who do on market and investors who do off market, I have seen that if you do off market, you are more than likely going to get a better deal and make more money. And again, this all goes back to the competition. Let's say a house is listed for sale for $400,000. A family who really likes that house might be willing to pay $400,000 or $410,000. However, you and I, as real estate investors, we cannot pay $400,000 for a house that is worth $400,000. We need to get it around $300,000. On top of that, you're also going to be competing with hedge funds and other types of investors as well. Let's say, for instance, that $400,000 house hits the market at $320,000. You and I, as wholesalers and flippers, might see that and realize that we have a very good chance of getting that property from $320,000 all the way down to $300,000. And don't get me wrong, I've done that plenty of times. However, there have been way more times where a house hit the market for $320,000, and while I was trying to get it for $300,000, a hedge fund or another investor came around and offered $350,000 or $360,000. So for those reasons, I believe it is a little bit tougher to make a good spread on an on-market deal, because since you are competing with all these different types of investors and buyers, it is going to be tougher for you as a wholesaler and a flipper to get the property at a price that you really want it. You might have to buy a thinner deal than what you would like to buy just so that you can keep the ball rolling and keep some income coming in. And let me just be extremely clear, I'm not saying that if you do on market, all of your deals are going to be very crappy and you're going to make $2,000 or $3,000 on the wholesale. I've had a couple deals that have only made me $2,000 or $3,000 on the wholesale, or that I was only able to sell them for the price that I had them for, and I just took the commission as a realtor. On top of that, I've had deals where I've made a $20,000 commission and a $20,000 assignment fee on top of it. I've had deals that came from on market that I decided to buy them and flip them myself, and they made $40,000 or $50,000 on the flip. And on the other hand, I've also had deals off market where I was only able to wholesale them for $2,000 to $5,000, and I've had deals off market where I've also been able to sell them for $30,000 wholesale fees. So yes, I do think off market might be able to make you a little bit more money, but at the end of the day, just like I said at the beginning, you're going to make more money with whichever strategy you choose to pursue and you go hard at it. Next, let's talk about the barrier to entry. With on market, there really is no barrier to entry. If you have the Zillow app on your phone, or if you're a licensed realtor with access to the MLS, you have all that you need in order to pick up your phone and start making offers to people who want to sell. With off market, however, the barrier to entry is a little bit bigger because you have to pay for marketing, then you have to reach out to those sellers to ask if they even want to sell in the first place. Everyone who has their house for sale on Zillow or on the MLS clearly wants to sell their house. So you can literally just go through the list of every house that is for sale and you can just start making offers that way. With off market, obviously you're gonna have to spend money to market to these people, and a lot of those people will not even want to sell. So for those reasons, I'm gonna say that on market definitely has the easier barrier to entry. The next thing we wanna compare is how long will it take you to get a deal? Regardless of if it's on market or off market, there isn't going to be any sort of magical answer for how long it takes you to get a deal. However, I will say, just like I talked about a couple seconds ago, everybody who is on the market clearly wants to sell. You're not going to be wasting your time talking to people who don't want to sell their house. When you're going off market, however, you're going to be talking to a lot of people who are telling you they do not want to sell their house. When I was cold calling, I might make phone calls for 5 hours just to find 5 people who actually wanted to sell their house, and out of those 5 people, maybe one of them was qualified to be a wholesale. So let's say you are cold calling every single day for a month, and every day you get one qualified person who wants to sell their house. When you are brand new to cold calling and wholesaling real estate in general, it might take you 100 leads to finally get one under contract. If you're only getting one qualified lead per day, that means that it might take you 4 or 5 months before you can even get a deal to close. If you're going on the market, however, you can make as many offers as you want. You can make 50 offers to people who want to sell their house every single day. From my personal experience, I started off only doing off market, and it took me 9 months before I finally closed on a deal. And when I started doing on market, it only took me 1 month before I started closing deals. However, that is not a very accurate comparison, because by the time I started doing on market, I already had experience doing off market. I had already done a couple of deals. I had already, started having a little bit of success. So my skill set on the phones was a lot better than my skill set when I first started doing off market. But just trying to look at it from a logical perspective, if you are only talking to people who want to sell their house, which is people who are on market, versus off market, if you're talking to people to ask them if they want to sell their house, I think it is going to be far quicker to get a deal on market as opposed to off market. The last thing that I want to talk about between on market and off market is how easy is it to actually wholesale the property? Nowadays, I mainly do on market, and I will say it is far easier to wholesale a deal when it is off the market. Here are some of the reasons why it is a lot harder to wholesale on market versus off the market. Very rarely will a property hit the market at a price that makes sense for a wholesaler and a flipper. Let's say a property hits the market for $200,000 and the ARV is $400,000. Most flippers would be willing to pay all the way up to $300,000 or $310,000 for that type of property. Let's say you, as the wholesaler, are in a bidding war with other people and you end up putting the property under contract all the way up for $270,000. You're gonna email the deal out to these flippers for $300,000. A lot of people get greedy, and even though the deal works for them at $300,000, they will say, no, this property is listed for $200,000. I could have found it. I'm not gonna pay you $300,000 for this home. I've had that happen to me many times, and whenever that happens, I just don't ever talk to that investor again. I bring that deal to another flipper who doesn't care how I got the deal or what I'm making on it. As long as the deal works for them, they're going to buy it. So that's a piece of advice. Don't waste your time with people who are gonna be greedy and counting other people's pockets. If you personally, you are watching this and you bring me a deal, you are the wholesaler, I don't care if you make $1 million, I'm happy for you. Go make your $1 million. If I only make 100 grand on a deal and that deal works for me, making 100 grand, then I'll be extremely happy with it. I don't care if you're making way more money than me. So that's one reason why it is harder to wholesale on market than off market. Another reason is a lot of buyers won't even look at your deal once you send them the address and they see that it is on the market. The reason for this is a lot of people assume that if a deal is on the market, that must mean that it is a horrible investment. Clearly that's not true. Like I said earlier, I've made a ton of money on deals that I've bought right off the market. I've wholesaled deals right off the market and have had people make a ton of money. A couple months ago, I wholesaled a luxury home to my friend here in Vegas, and he's gonna make almost $400,000 on the flip. And yes, I got that deal straight from the MLS. Do you think my friend is mad at me that I brought him a deal that was on the market? Of course not. He's gonna make a couple $100,000 on just one property. In hindsight, I probably should have just bought it myself, but it is what it is. And to be honest with you, the list could go on as to reasons why it is so much harder to wholesale a deal on the market as opposed to off the market. So my biggest advice when it comes to wholesaling deals on market is this. Build relationships with a lot of local investors. Whenever I reach out to an investor that I have a potential deal for them, even though it may be on the market, they are still going to run their numbers and do their due diligence because I've been working hard to build my reputation in Las Vegas as a credible wholesaler and flipper. A lot of these investors that I'm talking to know that I am doing deals every single week. In fact, I'm gonna give you guys a real life example of how it can be difficult to wholesale a deal on the market. Spencer Cornelia, he's a huge YouTuber. I recommend you go watch all of his videos and subscribe to his channel. he is also an investor here in Las Vegas. At the time this story occurred, I had only talked to Spencer maybe once or twice at the most. I sent him a message saying that I had a deal that he might be interested in. I told him that the deal was on market, and he texted me back saying, "Hey dude, if it's on market, it's not a deal." I sent him a quick video showing him some of the houses that I had recently wholesaled to Ryan Pineda that were right off of the MLS. And even though Spencer has clearly had a lot of success in both real estate and in business, he was humble enough to say, "Oh wow, you definitely proved me wrong." And from that point on, we've been talking a lot about doing deals together, and maybe something will happen in the near future. So the reason I share that story with you guys is to let you know that there are a lot of obstacles when it comes to wholesaling houses that are on the MLS. But just like Spencer was open-minded enough to realize that you can get deals on the market, I recommend you guys to allow other investors to be open-minded as well, if at first they may not seem open to buying a deal that is on the market. So shout out to Spencer for being open-minded. Go subscribe to his channel, subscribe to this video as well. Leave any questions you have down in the comment section. Please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you all